Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How on this beautiful Saturday are you? I hope, I pray, and I trust that everything is well and that it's in order, right? You know, we always want things to be in order and we want things to be well with us. And so we play a very significant part in things being well and right. While we can't control everything, you know, wouldn't it be nice? Just push a button and presto changeo. But we know that life really is not that way. There are some things that some things are a little easier to navigate through, and then some things you have to be very intentional if they're going to work. Well, I'm Dr. Preston Winfrey, as you know, and I'm clothed in my right mind. I have a reasonable portion of health and strength, have eyes to see with, ears I can hear. I'm still able to walk around, still can talk as you can hear. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for another day. Are you thankful? Are you really thankful? You're not taking this day for granted, are you? You're not saying, well, I got up, man, what a bummer. I had all these things to do. Well, you make out your calendar, and some things I believe you ought to decide on what you want to do, where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, and then do it, which leads me into what I want to talk about today. I want to use for my subject, use what works for you. Use what works for you. Something as simple as that. When we say use what works for you, that means you have to be intentional. You have to kind of find out what works for you. Someone once said, life, in order for life to work for you, you must discover what truly works. What truly works. Because there are so many opinions of what, life should be. And you've heard some of these things, if life is a lemon, just make some lemonade or make a lemon pie. Well, you can do that, but it's not automatic. You need the ingredients to make lemon juice, right? Simple thing, making some good lemon juice. Get you some lemons. Squeeze them. You can degut the lemon if you want. It depends on if you want the lemon pieces in there or not. But you squeeze your lemon, you put your sugar in, you put your water in, you stir it up, and you taste it to see if it has the sweetness that you want. Now, it can be too sweet. That means you put too much sugar in there. So you're going to need to add possibly more water because you can't take the sweetener out. So you're going to have to stretch it out. Add some water, and depending on how much lemon you put in there, lemon pulp and all that, you may need to add some more lemon unless it's over. Now, if it's too lemony, then you need to add some water to kind of balance that out. But at any rate, it's not as simple as just make lemonade. You're going to have the ingredients in order to make the lemonade. So you need to find out what truly works for you. Now, and I say what works for you because what works for that next person may not always work for you, no matter how simple and condensed their presentation is. The question is, will what they do work for you? And if it does not work for you, then you're going to have to find out what's really going to work for me. And too often in life, we go based on the premise of what others say should work. Right? And when it doesn't work out for our good, we become a little frustrated, a little angry, maybe a little ticked, just a little. sometimes it just causes us to just go off the deep end because they said, but they said. Well, that's what they said. They were probably at best guessing or making what they would think a safe assumption. But then sometimes you have to evaluate where you're getting your information from, because some people, everyone, don't mean you good, right? There are some people who will tell you just anything, sometimes to get you out of their face, sometimes because they think you're naive and foolish, and they say, well, they're going to do it, so I just tell them to do anything. It's like some clown who one day said, in order to get rid of COVID, drink some Lysol or drink some Clorox bleach. Well, think of the people who did it and who lost their lives. That's so unfortunate, right? So you need to, when you're getting information, you need to make sure that the information you get is verified, that is good, and that it's solid. You need to find out who else tried this. And so in other words, you need to do your homework, because you can eliminate getting frustrated based on someone else's recommendation. So eliminate getting frustrated, eliminating being angry, and saying, well, they told me, they lied. Well, there is something within us, right, that says, you better check the resources on that. You need to wait a minute. Don't just run off galloping into the sunset saying, hey, they told me what I need to do. You need to ask yourself, does this make sense? Is this practical? Is this something that I can do? Is this something I can do on my own? You need to do some investigation on it so that you'll have a good outcome. I'm thinking about a story of some manufacturers of dog food. They were in a board meeting and they were puzzled because the dog food that they put on the market, for some reason, the sales were so small. So in a board meeting, they said, well, maybe what we need to do, let's take it and put it in a different region of the country. So they did it, took it out of the one, they put it in another region. And some cans were purchased, but after a while, they were running into the same issues. They weren't selling. So they brainstormed and they said, I know what we can do. Let's change the label. Let's make it more colorful, because we're checking. We have all the ingredients. We have enough cereal in there. We have enough meat in there. We have enough grain in there. We have this, that, and the other. And so they changed the label, the packaging, and a few more cans sold, but no significant difference was made. And so they said, well, maybe we should try another region of the country. How's the price? Well, we have it priced right. The price is very low, but it's just not selling. And so they said, well, we're going to meet one more time on this and see what we can come up with. They did meet, and their light came on. And they said, I know now why the dog food is not selling. They said, well, why? They said, because the dogs don't like it. If it's dog food, folks, and you're trying to sell it so the dogs will eat it and their masters will purchase it, they're not going to purchase what their dogs are not going to eat. So it takes me back to what I said, use what works for you. And that's in every area of life. Some people that we gravitate towards, some people that we run after. I know some people who's always chasing after a dream, chasing after someone else's vision, chasing after what someone else said is going to work. You know, listen, if Puncho tell you he has the winning numbers of the lottery, and if you pay him, he can put you right there. Either Puncho don't realize that he can win the lottery for himself, but he's not going to win it for himself, because if he knew what the right answers were, he would go in and he would come out a winner by himself. So you need to check your sources. You need to find out, wait a minute, you can't always rely upon what someone else said or what someone else is saying. You know, you have to choose who's believable. Everyone isn't believable. There are some people who just on general principle will tell you whatever they think you want to hear. They'll tell you whatever comes up. And I've known cases where some of those people who did the telling of what they just wanted people to hear, they went and they told me, and no doubt others, just tell them anything, they'll believe it. They're so foolish. So we don't want to be naive in life. Use what works for you. If you've been always complaining and nagging, thinking that's going to change someone, did it work? Or did it drive them further away from you? So obviously nagging doesn't work. You make up in your mind, I'm not going to talk, and I'm just going to be mean, rude, and crude. Let me know how that works for you. But listen, someone said you can get more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. So how then do I get life to work for me? How do I discover what really works for me? Well, you know, it's going to sound so simple, but it really is. Excuse me. You're going to have to keep it 100. You're going to need to know what you're dealing with, know what's out there, and then you go with the tried and the true. Jesus said this, if you want things to work out on your behalf and work out for your good, he says this in Matthew 6:33, I believe it is, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. You know what? I know sometimes people say, I don't want to go to church, and I don't want to have to listen to a preacher, and I don't want to have to, why do I have to read the Bible in order for things to work out? And listen, because it's going to work on your behalf. It's going to work for your greater good. Listen, if you've been frustrated in all that you've been doing because things, and you're frustrated and mad and angry because things are not working out in a manner that you wish they would, then maybe try doing something different. Let's go back to this manufacturer of the dog food. They discovered, I've got to do something different. If I keep doing what I've always done and expect a different outcome, I'm only fooling myself, and I'm really frustrating myself. If you're tired of being frustrated, you're tired of being disappointed, you're tired of being on the low end, then why don't you turn it around? You know, if you're on the wrong train, get off the train. Don't say, well, you know, I'll let this go into the depot, and then, no, because it goes in, you're going to have to get off, and you have to get back on a different train. Why don't you save yourself the energy, save yourself the time and the trouble? Get off now. Get on the right train. If you're on the wrong track, get on the right track. If you've been hanging around the wrong folks and listening to the wrong information, and now you find yourself isolated from people who really mean something to you, why don't you then stop listening to those clowns and get your life together and do whatever it takes to make things right? You know, if you want it to work for you, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to work. You know, there are so many people who, for some reason, it just seems like they are allergic to doing what is right. You know, you got to get some people out of your head. You got to get some old traditions out of your spirit. I mean, not that old traditions are bad, but there are some things that we've just done historically that just does not work for us. So you need to find out what works. If at first you don't succeed, don't quit, but try again and keep trying and keep working it until eventually something kicks in for you. And listen, I'm here to tell you, it will click in. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. You're tired of being sick? Go to the doctor. That's their specialty. I know that they are practicing physicians, but there are some good ones out here. If that doctor does not help you, do you no good? You can go to another doctor. Oh, but why go through all that? I might as well just stay at home and be sick. It's your choice. But why strain when there are those who have the training? You know, training beats straining. So why put yourself through some things when you really don't have to? So don't be mad with life. Don't be mad with others who are prospering and doing well. You can do well. You just have to have a made up mind that, you know what, I'm going to find out what works for me. If how I've been dressing, I'm perceived as a clown, maybe I need to change my uniform, put something else on, and then go in public. And who knows, you just might be accepted, you know, but you got to use what works for you. If you've been drinking that, smoking that, taking that, hanging around that, being that kind of way, and it's taking you under, unless you want to be under, freeze all of those things and try something different. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Look for it. Jesus said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open. You have some work to do. It's not automatic. You want to have joy, and if joy don't come to where you are, it's time for you to start leaping for it. Leap for your joy. Because what you look for in life, surely you will find it. All righty. Well, listen, this is Dr. Winfrey saying thank you so much for joining me. And I pray that you have a good rest of today. Pray that the Lord will continue to bless you. And listen, if at all possible, you don't have a place of worship on Sunday mornings and you're in our area, come on and worship with us. 315 East 161st Place, that's in South Holland, Illinois. Listen, until next time we meet, may the Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, and be gracious unto you. May he lift the light of his countenance upon you and grant you peace.